Broker Bulletin acknowledges the traditional custodians of all the lands across the country on which we record our podcast and pays its respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. Welcome to the Broker Bulletin podcast, where better begins. Join us as we chat with brokers about what's working for them, what drives them, and the real challenges and wins that matter most right now.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Broker Bulletin. So I'm Jason Furnell, and today I've got a very special guest joining me in the studio, the newest employee of LMG and the CEO of the Broker's Bible, Kath Persoglia. Welcome.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here, and I'm so excited to join the team.
Yeah, and we just rushed over from the corporate offices. You looked a bit panicked, a lot going on for you. So welcome and thank you for taking the time to do this. To begin with, I thought we'd take a step back and look at the kind of origin story of the Broker's Bible. Like why did you create it? What was the prompt for deciding to, move away from a successful broking business towards a tech startup? Tell us a little bit about that journey.
I've been mortgage broking for over 2 decades. It's in my blood. I love it. I guess the last 5 years for me, I've been thinking about what's next? What's going to be the next thing that I can get my teeth stuck into, but where can I really add value? And it was during the time when I was scaling my business. I was bringing in new to industry brokers. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be able to take a step out of my business and really mentor these new to industry brokers and have them, really take the business to the next level. But whilst I was doing that, I was becoming strangulated with my time. I was their absolute go-to for everything. Kath, what's the best lender for this? Kath, where do I take this scenario? It was actually really overwhelming, and I would spend so much of my time workshopping with them and guiding them. And though I absolutely loved it, I would get this little kick out of helping them. My own business was just on the decline. So whilst I was helping them get to where they needed to go, I was suffering and I had no time for anything, let alone my own clients, and still continuing to serve my own clients. This industry is ever evolving. New policies are coming out every day. I'm 20 years in and I'm still learning new things. How can you possibly keep up with that? And it was that time when I was building my team that I was going backwards in my own business. And I'm thinking, I cannot be the only one going through this. Surely other business owners feel my pain. I'd have to turn my phone off because I needed some quiet time so I could just get into my own clients' work. And it was during that time that teaching others, telling them where to go. Where should they go to policy? Ring your BDMs, get onto the broker portals. They didn't even know what to search for. And it was in those moments that I was starting to think, well, if I had a crystal ball or if I could do anything, what would it be? Am I from tech? Absolutely not. But I thought that I could build something and find a way to build something that could really add value to other brokers because I knew that I wasn't the only one.
For those who, we're just assuming people know what the Broker's Bible is. So I'll give you my high-level pitch of it and you can correct it. So it essentially looks at 2 things. So one is it builds scenario areas where if you want to deep dive into things like LMI waivers, you can see a full sort of range of different approaches that lenders will take. So it does scenarios very well and has curated content for that. The other part of it has AI-driven natural language search where you can ask it a question and it'll respond. Is that correct? Would you put it any differently?
Absolutely. You are bang on. I wanted a hub, like an online hub that you could go and get all the different lenders' policies, all their information in one place, rather than phone a friend, phone a BDM, broker portal, all these different places. And I wanted it to be up to date and accurate. So what started out as me building a policy library, which now has 170 lending policies, it is huge. It started out as that. And then by the time I had launched, when you're building these things, you just want to keep better and better and better, and you think of a new idea. By the time we launched in November of 2023, AI was knocking at my door and I was back to the drawing board, building our own AI, which sits in there, which you've spoken about. And that there, we've got an app for the phone. You can speak into your phone natural language. And what it does is it will sort through and find acceptable lenders for that particular scenario in seconds. So you can do your manual search. We've got a lot of education. So we're not just copying and pasting bank policy. We're providing that education that really helps brokers to understand the questions that they need to ask their client up front. Just because a lender does parental guarantee loans does not mean that they do it in the same way. So understanding those nuances, forget the interest rate. We know that's important, but understand how banks are different to make sure that you are matching your client's needs to the right bank's policies. You're coming across so much more confident in front of your client if you're asking the right questions. You're also presenting a better quality application for that one-touch approval if you are taking it to the right lender who will accept that particular scenario. And that is the driving force of the Broker's Bible. It's not just policy. It is getting the broker to understand the policy.
Obviously, we love the passion that you bring to this. We love the solution. So again, for context, the product will be part of the suite that LMG is offering now. I'm very happy to have you in the family. Looking forward to where we can take it from here. One of the things that I thought was unique, and maybe you'd like to talk a little bit more about, is it's not just a collection of lenders' sort of policy documents and a search over the top of it. You're curating content and advice on specific niches, and also sending regular updates on, the landscape of lending. And do you want to just talk a bit about that? Because there is the nerdy AI searchy side of it, which, to be honest, is a bit not that transparent. Like, it just sort of seems to work and is impressive. But the side that you bring, which is that curated, cared for, carefully considered stuff, like, why did you take that path? It's a different path to a lot of providers in this space.
And that's the difference. I didn't want to build something that had already been done before. I was not going to put my time and effort into doing same. I wanted to build something that had personality, that had a voice, that had a face, not just tech. I joke about it and say, oh, it's touchy tech. And well, what do I mean when I call it touchy tech? I mean that there's actually real people behind the scenes. AI is amazing. I'm obsessed with it. I love it. We've got it inside the Broker's Bible. But what it doesn't have is that real life experience. So when curating this library, we do add training videos. In every single module, there would be recommendations of lenders who really shine in this particular area of lending. And it is from a broker's perspective. So those experiences and the history that I've had and my team have had, I want to bring that to the forefront. I also like to bring to the forefront the mistakes that I've made so others can learn from this. When we do our webinars, we do deep dive every fortnight on a certain policy. We pick that policy apart. I share the good, the bad, and the ugly. I will talk openly about the mistakes, the declines that I got. Don't be like Kath. This is what I did. Don't be like me, but I'm sharing it because I didn't know. So these kinds of examples and putting that, taking that knowledge, human knowledge, that human touch, that experience of working with the clients. I know how it feels like and the anxiety you get as a broker. AI doesn't know that. So AI is great to do that search and to bring everything together in a really quick time frame. But what we bring is those curated modules, those hubs like you spoke about, the LMI hub. We have a construction hub, self-employed hub, which goes through everything from low doc to 3-month ABNs. Like, it's extensive. First home buyers curated into every single state. We've linked up all the government websites so brokers can get in, click onto Queensland and go straight through to the Queensland State Revenue Office. So again, trying to think, okay, how can we make this tool that one stop? You don't have to remember all the broker logins. How can we just give it to you right there on a silver platter? You can navigate your way around. It is ever changing. It's every day we've got these content policy updates. We do our monthly credit updates, which, I record every Monday. And again, it's just taking all those emails that we as brokers get, 50 to 100 a day, bringing it all together and telling brokers in 5 minutes what they need to know. So that's what I wanted as a broker. I just wanted it to be update, accurate, save me time, give me back time, stop wasting it on non-income producing, boring activities, making it so that a broker can concentrate on what they really do well, which is serving their client.
Brilliant. And those emails are very engaging actually. So can't wait to see them continue to roll out. So one thing I found fascinating was the process by which you are kind of analysing what gets asked in the Broker Bible and then creating new content modules and new scenario guides around that. Do you want to, sorry, I'm going to put you on the spot, but did you find things that surprised you, like questions that were being asked, you thought, wow, I never thought of that? Or what did you learn through the process of sort of analysing all the questions that were coming in?
We do a stock take basically every month and find out what brokers are asking. And that's how we do form our education for, say, the next quarter. And we'll analyse the most frequently asked questions. What are the hot topics so that we can curate that content? And we can also, it helps us to build more information or build more modules that are meeting the needs of these brokers' questions. And we'll go the top 5 and really do a bit of a deep dive every month. And that's something that's really important because the brokers are who we serve. And I need to know what they need more of. And do they need more resources? And again, can we uplift? Is there an uplift that we need inside the Broker's Bible based on these questions?
Yep.
And that information is gold.
Yeah.
And
what are some examples? What's an example of something that came up recently? You're like, I never thought. Yes, we really need to go into that more clearly.
Adult industry worker. That comes to mind yesterday. It's interesting. I was about to say there's probably a lot more education that we need to put out just on how to ask the Broker's Bible in terms of the chatbot garbage in, garbage out, because you've got to be detailed. We're not talking a keyword search anymore. We are talking, you must ask in natural language and be detailed. A scenario that came up is sex workers and self-employed in the adult industry. And that was an interesting one. It took me a little bit of time to go back and forth, even with the AI, to make sure that I was asking the right question in the right way for the member. And that's just an illustration of, that's an interesting one. That's not going to be coming up every single week, I'm sure. Ones that come up on a regular basis are anything to do with self-employed, and also lots of queries around LMI waivers. We tend to find that the self-employed comes up in our top 3 nearly every single month. Different forms of income. That's another one. Casual, contracted, that is always coming up, that income. But we certainly have some very interesting questions, from tiny homes being built on parents' land, which is owned by the parents, right through to, as I mentioned, adult industry. Lots of low doc questions. And it's even there was one, some kind of a bunker home. I can't remember off the top of my head, but in Cootapedy. I'd never heard of this particular type of home that was built in a cave.
Yeah, it's underground. Cootapedy, yes. Where they mine opals, yes.
Yes, that one came up. I actually had to Google and research, sorted that one out. But again, this is the go-to. You can put that information in. You can put postcodes in.
Yep.
We don't have every postcode listing in there because sometimes it's attached to lender software. But if you double down and you give a detailed prompt, you'll get very good answers.
Yeah. Well, I think another thing that's kind of exciting about you being here is that we often say LMG produces stuff that's, built by brokers for brokers. I think you're the embodiment of that, but also this process of trying to understand what people are searching for and then develop content based on that is really at the heart of that, right? Yeah, really can't wait to see how the service evolves based on all of the input that's going to come from, Australia's biggest broking network. You're going to be flooded with a whole bunch of new requests. Yeah, I can't wait to see that. Do you want to talk a little bit about diversification? Because I know that it's certainly something at LMG that we're very focused on, which is, providing the best platform for diversifying your business. It must create a lot of complexity for you. Any thoughts or comments or vision for the future in that space?
I'm a very big advocate on diversification. I know that seems to be the buzzword and it has for the last couple of years. But when you look at it and you think about the resi industry and the resi mortgages, we're nudging 80% broker introduced. If you look at commercial, it's only 30%. So if I'm a broker, where are the opportunities? I look and see that commercial lending is such a big opportunity to focus on. I know that a lot of brokers shy away, and I've had many calls with members, especially new to industry, and we're talking about the members of the Brokers Bible, new to industry, they think that commercial lending is just so scary. It's not. It does take some extra work and obviously a lot more understanding and so forth. But again, if you have the right tools in place, education, and that's again what we're all about. We want to build education for brokers. It's not as scary as they think. And halfway through the last year, I decided, okay, I really wanted to bring in commercial lending policy into the Broker's Bible. I wasn't prepared to do that because it's such a big task. I wasn't prepared to do that unless I knew I had a viable business. Halfway through the year, I absolutely knew Broker's Bible has legs. So I'm like, okay, now we're going to put in commercial lending. And I have been building that out. There's a lot more work that we need to put into it, but absolutely, we've been building out commercial policy modules and also for business lending. And I know that we're talking now about really beefing up, which is so important, the asset finance. So there's a lot more to come. And I feel like if brokers have knowledge, then they will feel more confident. If they can do some training modules or learn about how to structure these commercial deals, bite-sized pieces, if we give them the tools, then they will thrive and they will feel confident. So they're not going to feel like they've either got to refer the deal, give them more confidence that they can actually take it on.
Let's spend just a second on what it's like as a human interacting with AI. For some people, they're very fluent in that space. Others, it's kind of new to them. You mentioned sort of how precise you need to be in your language and how careful you need to be when constructing a question. Any advice or tips for people who are going to be, having to interact with machines in this way?
I think there's just the detail. Like, even if I'm using ChatGPT, outside of the Broker's Bible, I'll be very detailed. And I think, again, it's going back to if you can give the right instructions, you will get the right response. And that's what it comes down to. So I encourage our members, when you are putting your information, your scenario into the Broker's Bible chatbot, you're using what lenders or what residential lenders have an acceptable lending policy for blah, blah, blah. Don't put in 77 hectares vacant land, enter.
Yep.
Like, you need to be specific.
Yep.
So it will give you, wrong information if you're not giving it the right response.
Yep.
So I would encourage, if you are using AI, to be specific and also to go back and forth. If it hasn't given you the answer or the response, or maybe it's understood you in another way, don't just go, oh, well, that's useless. Just think about it and go, maybe I'll rephrase it. And you can say, sorry, I've misled you. I want to rephrase it. And just be open, be very open, very curious. It's ever evolving. And in the back end, we play around with the different GPTs. At the moment, we've got one that I think is very good. But who knows, every week something new is coming out. The biggest thing that I'm excited about is working with a team that know more about AI than I do. I feel like I'm at my limits.
Yeah.
I need support. I need you. You know much more about tech and AI than I ever will. So I think that there will be an amazing uplift just to have that support and going, okay, let's tweak this. Let's do this. That's what I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah. So let's dive into that a bit more, because I agree that what we can maybe do together is going to be very exciting. You were in the sort of process of pulling this whole thing together, very interested in, being able to do more with the technology, particularly around AI. What do you think we could do together? Like where are we going to go? I know it's early. I know I'm putting you on the spot. Broker's Bible is, a great service. It's got real legs. It's got a large number of advocates for the service. But yeah, what are you hoping to achieve with us?
Oh my goodness. Can we whiteboard this? That's the most exciting part, because I look around and see what AI is already doing. And I know that we've had previous conversations, and I've even had conversations with your data scientists internally. And even those conversations get me excited, because the things that frustrate me about I'm hitting a ceiling, I'm hitting a wall, like I'm at my capacity, as I said. But when I'm talking to someone that actually knows what they're doing, they just turn to me and go, oh no, we'll do this, this, and this. And I'm like, that to me has been my biggest issue, but you're telling me that that's nothing. Now, I have all these big plans in my mind of how I would love it to work and bring it all together and bring different tech stacks together to have this amazing output. That's what I'm excited about. I'm excited to see how we can integrate policy, then bringing in serviceability capabilities, and how does that interact into the whole process of lodging that application or providing the recommendations, sorting through. Generally, so much work for a broker is done up front when they're trying to research and find that right lender for their customer. Now, we've solved part of that problem already, but what about if we join that with other things like bringing in other capabilities? It would just be a game changer. And that's where I see this going. And that's the excitement for me.
Yeah. Well, we're very much looking forward to doing that work too. The next chapter is going to be really fun. Before I let you go, I know we have some exciting news to share for anyone who's within the LMG family. Do you want to tell us a bit about what that is?
Obviously, we have Scale Up coming up, and what a great platform for us to really dive in and share with the network what we're doing and showcase the Broker's Bible. And we will be offering the LMG network a free trial period of 6 months. And we are so excited. That means that everyone will be onboarded. They will have their own user and log in, and they can really jump in and start using the Broker's Bible, start benefiting immediately. And I know that over the next 6 months, we will also be working really closely, getting the feedback from all of our users and really looking at ways that we can put into place some additional functionality so that next year we'll have a more exciting product that everyone can be using.
Fantastic. Well, that's an amazing offer. And yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who are excited to give it a crack. To wrap up, look, I think my biggest takeaway from today's conversation is that, the technology side and the people side really need to come together, and the expertise and passion that you bring to ensuring the human side of understanding policy niches and communicating that, complemented with amazing technology that helps people navigate and search, that is going to be very, very powerful. And, we're very much excited about bringing that to our network. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. If you have a topic you want us to discuss, please email us at thebrokerbulletin@lmg.broker or DM us on Instagram. Our producer will make sure we answer any questions or any queries we have immediately. If you like this episode, make sure you rate and follow us on your favorite podcasting platform. Thanks for your time, Kath. Welcome to the group.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for tuning in to Broker Bulletin. We would hate for you to miss an episode. Subscribe to Broker Bulletin in your favorite podcast app. Has this episode been helpful? We'd love you to rate and review us. It'll help us deliver content that's useful to you and help others discover us. If you have great ideas for topics worth tackling or have burning questions you'd like addressed on an upcoming episode, reach out. Links in the show notes. See you next time.